capital boost may stop 1,000 Naira to $1 exchange rate, analysts. Unless there's a bold effort by the CBN to inject capital into the foreign exchange market, the free fall of the Naira may continue as the currency may change for 1,000 Naira to $1 in the coming months, analysts have said. If it doesn't happen, the pound is already at 1,000 already, so I don't see how the dollar will not follow suit anytime soon. The CBN last month allowed the market to determine the Naira exchange rate for the first time in years in a move that has been widely cheered by investors. The development means that buyers and sellers of foreign exchange in the official FX market are now allowed to quote rates that they find comfortable in the FX market, as against previous practices where rates were dictated by the CBN. The analysts argue that the next step for Nigeria after a bold first move towards unifying the country's problematic multiple exchange rates is to boost dollar supply into the market. They added that despite overwhelming acceptance of the exchange rate liberalization under or by the investor community, without cash injection from the CBN, the Naira will continue to experience devaluation. A forex trader said the much-needed capital injection by the CBN will serve as an impetus for international investors who are watching development in Nigeria with keen interest. Where? He said no foreign investor will come without a hedge, and that can only come when there's an assurance of supply. That's hard work. The free float policy of the CBN may lead to free fall of the Naira very soon if there is no effort to inject capital into the market. The Naira traded at 777 Naira, 50 kobo to $1 on Thursday at the I&E trading platform, while the British pound stood at 1,050 Naira. Ileshomi said, there's possibility of the dollar exchanging for 1,000 Naira and even higher in the next 3 months if the needed capital injection is not seen in the market. You know what's funny? 1,000 Naira to $1, and 1,000 Naira to a pound, just 4 or 5 years ago, at some point, just seemed like, wow, that's so impossible. What? It just seemed like something that is so unattainable. Like, come on now. That it's like when you say that phrase or that thought coming to your head, it just sounds so unrealistic and exaggerated and very dramatic. And now is our reality. Like play, what you don't want to happen or what you're sluggish about will happen. And what you don't take seriously, it would always happen. And you would be surprised, you would be shocked, but you wouldn't have a right to be shocked because you should have seen it coming. And it's crazy. Well, Mada Yusuf, an economist and CEO, said the CBN should brace itself up for the expected duty in a liberalized environment. Wow. I mean, I'm not an economist, and so a lot of people will have their opinions. I don't necessarily know technical economic things on what they can do, if it's injecting cash and injecting the dollars and having more supply of that in the market, in the Nigerian market. Okay, great. But yes, instead of fixing an exchange rate, they basically let the market decide. They let the market decide, and the market decides that we are so devalued and we are just, I don't even know what to say, because the market has basically shown, because again, it's what do you call it? The invisible hand in economics. And so you've liberalized the market, and the market has now decided and said, by the way, you're very useless. So if it keeps going like that, of course, it's favorable for investors, because investors can then decide, or traders actually, can basically decide the rate they want to trade at, which just, I really don't understand. I cannot lie. I really don't know what the economic consequences are or the economic solutions to this. The moves that they're making, put in the comment section if you know that there's something that can be done Because on paper, a lot of things would look right. A lot of theories on what to do and how to fix certain situations, but then you realize that maybe not. So to be honest, I'm actually quite unsure as to the direction Nigeria is going into, and that is why, literally everyone's saying just invest in dollars. I mean, with your property, with your assets, your investments, just change it into the dollar, because it just seems any currency but just the Naira, to be honest, because the inconsistencies over the years, right? Like, do you know how crazy that is? And we talk about inflation. There's just so much going on. And, I think for the government to react, because I feel like, there's always I feel like something just horrible needs to happen, where the people in office are also affected, because there really needs to be a sense of urgency from the leaders to fix the situation. And corruption, diverted funds, things that are unaccounted for, just something horrible really needs to happen, I personally think, because that's the only way we can get change. But I think, on the other hand, if something terrible happens, given the fact that we've been disorganized, we have no foundation, can also make the impact worse than it should, and it could really cause problems. Honestly, economically, technically, if you have the knowledge, advise Nigerians or the CBN on what to do. Don't forget to like and subscribe.